Hello, YouTubers. This is Sweet City Girl, and I know I said I wasn't going to do another post until I had something exciting like the surgery, but I thought I'd squeeze this one in here because it's something that came up, and it's regarding that band. Nothing. I have no updates. Everything. I've been going to the gym and doing my exercise and stuff like that, and watching what I eat. So that stuff hasn't changed. But so I just wanted to go ahead and touch on and see if maybe anybody else feels the same way in the lap banning community. Um, Basically, in talking to my mother has taken the liberty of telling other people about my surgery, and she's my mom. So first I was upset, and then it's like, well, I know her. I asked her not to tell anyone, but that is the case. So she has a friend, and she was able to get the lap band very quickly, and had it done about 2 weeks ago. And between that and she came across an old friend who had also had this. She had gastric. So between one thing and another, I find myself having a conversation with her this morning on, well, why don't you get gastric? And I was like, well, because A, B, C, D, E. So I basically ran down a list and explaining to her why, my major points, my major reasons, how should I say, I don't think I don't think my weight is such to a point where it requires drastic measures. And I don't mean this to come off anyway, but for me, I don't think, or I feel that gastric is an extreme. And yes, I did consider it at some point, but I took a lot of things into account. First and foremost, the medical dangers with the gastric versus the lap band, and it just seemed very common, things like ulcers and things like that. And of course, I understand that everyone's different, but I don't think that going under the knife is one of those points where you want to flip a coin on surgery and hope that you're one of the people who does not react in a quote negative, not negative way with different outcomes. I don't want to flip a coin on that. I know I did read an article somewhere that a doctor mentioned that people who get lap band are people who are likely to not even have weight loss surgery if that wasn't an option. And again, it goes back to everything we hear. It's less invasive. You can remove it if need be and things like that. And at the end of the day, with the gastric, you're rearranging your whole, gastric system. And I just don't think that, my weight and my situation, though classified morbidly obese, which I can't stand that word, because again, it's one of those labels that society has put on us. But I don't think that is, it's not that extreme. Yes, the situation is serious. I am overweight and I need to do something about it, and I am. And I'm doing what I think feels best for me. My mother's other comment was, you lose the weight slowly and you don't lose as much. And I'm like, well, again, everybody's different and it depends what approach you take. And I explained to her how I had seen people on YouTube some people had lost 125 pounds in a year. Some people had lost 80 pounds. We're all very different. And it's all about what we do and how we approach the situation. So I asked her to, be subjective with that. I also informed her, because she's small. She wears probably like size 4 or 6 or something like that. It's a little hard for me to tell, but she's what I consider petite. She's 130 pounds. So, and she's like about 5'6". So she's petite. Or I guess normal. I don't know, it's hard to gauge. But she went ahead and she was like, oh, and this lady, she had a giant belly, and now she looks like me. And I was like, well, Mom, you look fine for how you are, but I do not want to look like that. And I think again, choosing between gastric and lap band, you just have to be conscious of what your goals are. I am not looking to get down to such a weight where, I can be on America's Next Top Model. That's not my intent. My intent is to lose weight so I can do the activities that I want to do. I don't want to lose, my curves. I don't want to do that. So, I kind of lied a little bit with her, and I was like, oh, my goal is just, 100 pounds. If I lose 100 pounds, I'll be fine. Well, technically, my goal is it's a little more than 100 pounds, about 140. But, I just kind of wanted to ease her. Cause she just didn't get it. And I think sometimes the people closest to us have some trouble understanding us all the way. For example, I shared with my best friend, which I realized that somehow I slipped and it slipped my mind, and I forgot to tell him how much I weighed. He knows I've been doing the surgery. He's also my roommate, and I let him know, and he couldn't believe it. Well, first I asked him to guess how much I weighed. And he's like, well, I would guess 209. He's also very slender, and he didn't believe me. He's like, oh my God. And I'm like, well, yes, that is the weight that I carry with me every day, all 300 pounds of all. So, so fortunately, I feel that with my body type and my height, it doesn't look like I weigh XYZ. So I feel that, quote, any weight loss, any number will just be better for me, if we're talking aesthetically. So, and I also explained to her how the extreme rapid weight loss gives you a great deal of excess skin. Now, not to say that lap band doesn't, but since it is going a bit slower, you have more time, I feel, to do the exercise, do the toning, create the muscle, so the skin can go ahead and latch onto the muscle than dropping 30 pounds in a month. So that's my personal opinion. But so I just had a vent about this because if I can't have another conversation with someone why I'm doing lap band and not gastric. I think we live in a society where everybody wants now, instant, give it to me now. And granted, I am not a patient person, but like I told my mother, I do not have the money to go and get all my excess skin removed afterwards. So I need to do what I need to do now in order to have the best results at the end. So, I'm not married, and I haven't had any children, so in my timeline, I have a little ways to go to get stuff done, and I want to feel comfortable doing so. So, I wanted to go ahead and post this and get some of your feedback, see if you've been confronted with this before, if anybody has questions, not so much why you're doing the surgery, but why you're choosing one over another. So, I hope to hear from you guys. Go ahead and shoot me a comment or a message and just let me know, or a response video. I'm just wondering if am I alone in this, pretty much. So I hope you guys are doing great. I saw, let me see, I forget her name. I'm sorry. Banding Bunny, you have your date. Much congratulations. I'm excited for you too. So let's all keep in touch, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. Take care.